At the same time, the coronavirus recovery rate is declining in KwaZulu-Natal. Premier Sihle Zikalala says this is due to the rapid surge in new cases in proportion to recoveries. He says the rapid rise in cases is concerning. Zikalala says that the overall proportion of recovery for the province continues to decline and is at 82%. The decline is consistent with an increase in the number of new cases and the incidence risk. He joins us now to update us about how the province is dealing with COVID-19. Premier Zikalala, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. Now, you've raised concern over the rapid rise in cases in the province. Talk us through the numbers and what trends you have picked up on regarding the spike in cases.
Thank you. We are quite worried as KwaZulu-Natal about the increase that is taking place in terms of COVID-19 infections. It should be remembered that KwaZulu-Natal currently ranks number 4 in terms of provinces with the highest infected people. Having said that, we also have seen the fact that as numbers increase, the rate of people who are passing on is increasing, while the rate of recovery takes time. Now, the infection are rising at a high level within the short space of time, but the recovery take a prolonged time. And that is why you will see this variation that is appearing. We are working hard to ensure that we go back to intensify our campaign, the campaign on ensuring that all people follows the protocols in terms of adhering to safety measures, but also to ensure that people who are infected go back to self-isolation, quarantining process. We're also going back to ensure that the screening and testing is going on.
I want us to expand a bit about your administration's response to these rising number of cases. What are you doing? And also in extension, are the province's health facilities managing with the rise in COVID-19 cases?
Yes, the capacity in our hospital is still at a good level. We have prepared more than 3,367 beds. And we have beds allocated for ICU and those beds that will just help those who don't need to go to ICU. The capacity is more than 60% for now. And while the rate of admission is increasing, but it has not surpassed 50%, we are at least safe in terms of that. But adding to that, it's the new thing that we've seen. A number of people who dies and die from home. And that is caused by the fact that some people would not want to go to public hospitals because they believe that they will recover on their own. And that is one of the dangerous things. Hence, it is important that we run an educational campaign to ensure that our people are aware of this pandemic and also respond positively, because people must not be scared to go to public facilities.
Yeah. So also under the spotlight in recent days is these allegations or claims that have emerged of medical workers being overworked and being fatigued during this time, and also the issue of PPEs. What's your administration's response to this?
Well, during the emergence of this pandemic, we managed to add staff on a contract basis. We have since extended the staff that was employed for these purposes. So in terms of fatigue, we will not expect that we will suffer that much, while we know that we always are not at 100% level in terms of filling of positions because of number of challenges. But we would not say the fatigue might be there, though we must, all of us, pledge our support to our healthcare workers who are in the forefront of this fight. In terms of the PPEs, we are ensuring that all hospitals have PPEs and we are not experiencing any complaint in that regard.
So KwaZulu-Natal is usually very busy during the festive period, with holiday makers traveling to the province during this time. How are you dealing with the increased numbers of people making their way there as efforts continue to stop the spread of this virus?
Yes, it is quite a challenging situation, because while we must deal with the pandemic, we must also try to protect the little jobs we have as the country. And therefore, we are cautioned and we welcome visitors, but we are working with the hospitality industry to ensure that those tourists who are here are adhering to the protocols, and we are taking decisive actions against those who are not adhering to protocols.
So there are also issues being raised on religious gatherings. Now, there was another cluster outbreak from a 2,000-strong gathering at the KwaZulu-Natal mission in KwaZulu-Natal. Talk us through this development.
Well, it was a protest that took place around the area of KwaZulu-Natal mission. We have seen the cluster outbreak emerging from this protest. Hence, we are saying protest and the grievance on their own are not banned. But it is important that when people want to raise issues, they also look on the conditions that are obtaining in the current environment. And it is worrying us that action on its own, whether the grievances were genuine, but it resulted in a number of people being infected. Religious gatherings also are one of those super spreader events, any form of gathering. Even the government now is not conducting gatherings, but rather we work remotely, and we ensure that when we go out, we are going out because it is compelling.
Yeah. And lastly, what is your message to residents and holiday makers, especially with regards to the continued observing of a safety protocol?
We want to call on all people in the country as a whole, and those who will be visiting KwaZulu-Natal in particular, that let us all follow and adhere to safety protocols as put in place by the Department of Health. There is no other way we will be able to curb the spread of this pandemic except adhering to the protocol. We'd also call on the people that once they see that they've got symptoms, let them come to our healthcare facilities so that they will get an assistance while it is early. What causes the number of fatalities is when people get to hospital at late stage. And we appeal to all people, let us act responsible and let's protect ourselves and our loved ones.
And it would be amiss of me not to ask you what is happening on the roads in KwaZulu-Natal as many holiday makers make their way to the province. What are you noting on that front?
We continue to see the number of accidents in our roads, and we are quite worried. Each and every day there are accidents that are reported. That's why we've taken a decision that we're going to ensure law enforcement, traffic police and roadblocks are all over. And we would want people to understand that we're not going to be messy on anyone who is reckless and drive. Don't drive while you are on a cell phone. Don't drive more than 2 hours without resting. And we are conducting roadblocks, searching all over in KwaZulu-Natal, in all roads. We also want to echo the message that says even pedestrians must be responsible. They must not just cross anywhere, which then leads to accidents.
That was KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala.